That's 2 minutes, do it now. If it's a phone call that you need to make, do it now. If it's to book an appointment somewhere, do it now. All these 2-minute tasks can be done and take up way less time than planning them into your future. The next bit is give all these tasks a time. Your to-do list is probably way longer than you expect, but that's okay. And you go through each task and schedule it in to your planner. If you need to sit down and do 30 minutes or an hour in the library looking up journal articles for a paper, schedule that into your calendar. Give it a time. You won't let it slip if it's already in your calendar. You're more likely to let it slip if you're just waiting for an opportune time where destiny lets you go to the library. And the next tip I'll give you is when you are putting it into a to-do list, try and be as detailed as possible in your to-do lists. Students often tell me that they give themselves reminders on to-do lists and they end up going back and looking at it and not knowing what it is that they're supposed to do. And a lot of time can be spent with, if you start using your digital calendar, putting in the event in your calendar that says, here's the event, here's what I need to do, here's what I need to bring, and here is what I need to do while I'm there. What's the outcome going to be for this task? And that helps a lot with making lists, to-do lists, and getting things done. The next stage in the time management foursome is prioritization. The prioritization scheme that I think works the best is also known as the Eisenhower method. And if you can feel free to Google that if you want. And essentially there's a quadrant, and up the one side of it, it's the importance, so high importance at the top and low importance at the bottom. And across the x-axis at the bottom, it's urgency. More urgent on the left and less urgent on the right. So the square ends up being quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1 is very important and very urgent. And 4 is not important and less urgent. And so these all come into play when you're trying to figure out what prioritizing and what needs to be done. And this is probably something that'll be better used as an explanation or a drawing on a board. So I'm going to leave that there. But check it out, the Eisenhower method. And the last thing I was going to talk about is the tracking and analysis. Now this is something that it's really setting a benchmark, just like a lot of these other challenges have been, is seeing where you stand with relation to this particular skill. And doing a time log, as they say, is an excellent way to analyze where you're at, to analyze if your lifestyle is helping you meet your personal goals, and also gives you a starting place to work forward from. And so what happens in a time log is you set a set amount of days that you're looking to look at. In HR circles, they do a typical work week. Students might do 3 days if their classes are all in those 3 days. Even sometimes being able to track your leisure time is something that you'd be a bit surprised at where all that time goes. So the time log is essentially a small micro level analysis of where your time spent. Now, some people in the University Success class used to have to log their time at 15-minute increments throughout the day, just so they would be able to see where they were really using their time. I've relaxed it now to about 30 minutes because over the course of the day, people are doing things in 30-minute blocks. It seems to be our TV culture. Everything kind of links up to 30 minutes, and that's what we'd like to do as our temperature gauge. So we look at things for 30 minutes. for 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, 5 days in a row, and then do an analysis afterwards and see where we spent our time. Was it productive? Was it not? Was the balance between school and social there? Was the balance between social and screen time there? Did you get the amount of time that you needed to? Have you been putting enough time aside for meal cooking, meal prep, or is that where it's going to go? So I'm going to wrap this up, and basically what I was able to talk about is, given our 86,400 seconds in a day and our 168 hours in a week, it's so important that we're focused on that in order to do what's best for us and our futures. We talked about the time expectations while you're in university and what's probably expected out of the classroom. 15 hours a week in class and about 30 hours a week in independent learning, equaling about 45 hours, which is about the same as a regular job. And so flipping the switch to thinking of school as prep for a career is probably the biggest brain flick to helping people see that they need to be more productive with their time. I went through the next 4 steps and talked about how important planning is when getting your time managed properly. I went through listing, getting things done, to-do lists, and talked about why to-do lists can sometimes be thought of improperly by getting projects down on the to-do list rather than tasks, and how to do some ways to get those tasks done a little bit better. The third was prioritization, or the Eisenhower method, that'll help you see or help you get whatever your tasks needed to be done labeled so you know which ones need to be done when and how fast. And the number 4 is tracking. When things are starting to go awry, or even as a checkup, it's important to track and analyze where your time's been going, especially if it's causing you anxiety or it's causing you to be not as productive as you could be. I'm going to leave you with the last line. I guess it's another one of my made-up quotes, and this one says is that your goals need food. Your personal goals need food. You have to feed those goals, and time is really the only food that these goals eat. Now it's longer than a quote. So you have to feed your goals, and time is the food. I'll leave you at that. Look forward to speaking with you. Bye-bye.